This is the Galactic Emperor of the Universe. I'm here to tell you all to subscribe to UnrealEntGaming and remember to turn on notifications. You will be the first to know all about the latest Dragon Ball news and information.
Oh, did you say UnrealEntGaming? Oh, I love his channel.
God damn it, Zalbon, stop rubbing your nipples and get back to bed!
Dragon Ball Super episode 106 is now officially in the history books as we move on forward into Dragon Ball Super episode 107, and joining me here today to share our thoughts and predictions are two guests of mine, EmoshIsLive, and for the first time debuting on the channel is my good friend Infinite Dynasty, and today we're going to be talking about Dragon Ball Super episode 107 and our overall expectations for that. And again, if you guys have different opinions of your own, different comments to add, go on ahead and drop your comments down in the comment section below. Boys, we finally have some really interesting stuff going into next week's episode, and I want to go on ahead and start off with Emosh. Now, I want to get your thoughts on one thing, and this question also correlates to you, Dynasty, is what are your thoughts on Frost having to play a major factor in this? Because finally we get to see Universe number 6's Dr. Rota and Ten Shinhan having to be wrung out in episode 106. That's already a given. But what I wanted to start off with Emosh here is, where do you see Frost in next week's episode having to utilize his techniques against Roshi? Is he possibly going to toss out Roshi? Or is he going to have more of an involvement with other characters, given that what we saw in the subtitle version when they said, oh, the cheater Frost is here? So do you think he's going to use some sort of poise or tactic to implement his needles, perhaps, in trying to counteract whatever Roshi is going to do with his Mafuba, perhaps? So what are your overall expectations going into episode 107 involving Frost?
I think the episode with Roshi kind of set this up. When he placed the jar on the floor, he used the Mafuba, which technically, in my opinion, wasn't even cheating. But you saw Beerus and Cantella arguing over it, that he used an item and all this other stuff, and then Beerus was like, "Well, your fighter used the tag, so that's that's considered an item." Then they were just bickering back and forth, and I think that episode kind of led up to this one, where ultimately the Yamna King was like, "Listen, it's safe, it's neat, so it's safe. I don't care. Like I liked it, I liked what I saw, so it's safe, right?" So I feel like maybe Frost might have been kind of no, he might have noticed that. I don't think it was just like Beerus and Catella or X amount of people noticing, and maybe we have guys who are pretty they're pretty perceptive when it comes to stuff like that. So I think when it comes down to it, they might have noticed it or something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be the case, but I feel like that episode led to this. So going forward, I'm actually looking at the preview right now again, and I have it in slow motion. We see the Mafuba, and we see Roshi, not Roshi on top of the jar, but Frost is above the jar.
Yeah.
So
you can see his feet.
So that's interesting. But I think the whole concept of him, quote unquote, Goku saying the cheater Frost, I think he's just acknowledging him as a cheater, assuming that he'll just succumb to that evil desire to cheat again, despite him saying that he won't. I think that's what's going to be the case ultimately. I don't think he's going to cheat. I don't think he's stupid enough to do that. However, we do see in the preview as well that they mentioned that Frost is using Magetta as a wall. Yeah,
to get to everybody, exactly.
Exactly. So, which is a good defense. I mean, obviously, it does showcase combination attacks. It does showcase teamwork. I think it's great. Whether or not Frost is, we also see Frost above Roshi with his foot on his chest. I think it's safe to say that they're going to start picking up the pace now with getting rid of characters, especially from Team Universe 7. Yeah, but ultimately, I think we're going to see a lot of combination between Frost and Magetta. I think we're going to see a lot of combination in terms of Cunning from Frost especially, which is good to see because we have not really seen anybody really use their quote-unquote experience other than Roshi at this point in time, as of lately, especially. So I think it's gonna be exciting to see. I'm all for it. I'm just really curious to see why Frost is above the jar now, because I think maybe he might, because we could see the Mafuba still there, and he's standing on top of the jar, so it's like, what the heck is going on here? Did he find a way to counter it? I don't think that's the technique that.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna get sealed away. That's already a given. But Dynasty, I wanted to ask you, like, what are your overall thoughts seeing Frost? Do you think, in your opinion, he's going to ring out Roshi, or is he gonna do something else? Like what's your take on this?
Well, I think Frost, we can all agree that he's a snake. Like when he ringed out Krillin, we all didn't expect that. He came out of nowhere and just ringed him out. But I feel like he's gonna cheat his way through, right? And he's just gonna eliminate Roshi. But I feel like Goku, because you notice in the preview, you see Goku's face, like he's like shocked or something.
Shocked,
So I feel like maybe he's gonna take out Frost, or maybe he'll just get away with it, like how he got away with eliminating Krillin.
So wait, you're saying that perhaps maybe he's gonna do the same thing he did to Krillin and ring out Roshi and then get away?
Maybe. Well, as you said, like in the preview, it said he's using Magetta as a wall. So maybe he's gonna use Magetta to like protect himself while he gets the dirty deeds done.
That's a pretty good tactic. But do you see Goku getting involved with him by any chance, or is it just gonna be him and Roshi, you think?
I don't know. I can see Goku getting involved too, cause he like how when Goku rushed to Roshi's aid in episode 105, when you see after he like used the Mafuba, he Kamehameha. What's this guy's name? The one that fought against Goku earlier.
Yeah, I forgot his name. Yeah, the Universe 4 fighter. I forgot his name too.
Ganos?
Ganos, there we go, Ganos.
Yeah, Ganos. Yeah, you see now he rushed to Roshi's aid when he
I mean, because Roshi was like incapacitated. He was practically dead, and you know, he was just, you know, for Goku to pick that up. I doubt that Roshi's gonna die in this episode, but I agree with you. I think that Frost is gonna take him out, because I'm sorry to say, I love Roshi, the grizzled veteran coming in here, schooling all the young guys. I like that concept, but come on, man, it's time. It's time to get
for the big boys to play.
Yeah, man, and going forward from there, I want to go back to Emish real fast. We get to see Maji Kayo fight Dyspo, and we get to see him fight, assumingly fight, because I don't think it's gonna be a fight, coming across Jiren. Now, against Dyspo, we get to see how Maji Kayo takes the kick, but then he laughs and he, you know, strikes, you know, Dyspo with his poison, his body having to alter. But when we see Jiren, on the other hand, it looks like Maji Kayo formulates some sort of like a fist in trying to just attack Jiren. So, who is it? Is it going to be Dyspo, or is it going to be Jiren that rings out Maji Kayo? Because he's an interesting figure. He's more like an organic, liquidy kind of character. But by the end of it, it's like, is it Jiren or Topo in your or Jiren or Dyspo in your opinion? Because Topo hasn't been shown yet.
I'd be happy if it was Jiren, because technically Jiren did one-shot Kale, but didn't get the job done.
Yeah, didn't.
So I think it's about this time where they start to hint, you know, at Jiren a little more. Dyspo is granted, you know, he's a little battle damaged, so who's to say how much he's healed? Not to say that he cannot handle Maji Kayo, but still, obviously, based on the preview, it looks like Maji Kayo is just doesn't really care for Dyspo, despite how fast he is. He could absorb hits, and Jiren just looks like he's about to plus ultra this guy, like, you know, just plus ultra this Texas Smash All Might this dude. So it's like, you know, I hope it's Jiren. I hope it's Jiren, because I'll be okay with one shots from Jiren, especially because he is the, you know, he's the most anticipated character right now. So if we get some one shots from him and he finishes the job, hey, no problem. I'm surprised we didn't see Topo though, to be honest.
Yo, he's another guy that's I mean, granted, there's a lot of them. Frieza, Topo, everyone's being kept, but so you think it's gonna be Jiren? I hope it's Jiren. I honestly hope it is too, but Dynasty, what do you think? Do you think it's going to be Dyspo that's going to get the job done, executing his speed finally and trying to bring somebody out, or is it going to be Jiren?
No, I think it's going to be Jiren, because as we're heading to October, we got to showcase more of Jiren's feats, right?
Yeah, you have to.
What's a better example than for him to eliminate?
But Maji Kayo isn't really someone that's, I guess, formidable to someone like that. I mean, it'd be different if it was like, you know, he eliminates Frieza or someone as an example, because that's like, whoa, what?
Well, the thing is, it's like, Universe 3 has gotten no play at all.
Yeah, at all, yeah.
So now's their chance, and whether Maji Kayo wins or loses.
You gonna feed them to Jiren though?
Well, I mean, you know, it's like the first episode we got with Kale, she got fed to Jiren.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's they could have just had the whole episode just be about Kale, and then going on to next week, it's more Kale, and then during, you know, before the commercial break, Jiren knocks her out, and then we go forward. But now it's like they're really forcing everything into one episode, which I understand, but I just don't think like it works. For example, like the whole episode with Hit and the whole episode with Roshi, when you focus primarily on certain characters, you get so much better. You get better feedback overall from the episode. And I think right now, the episode with Hit, the episode with Roshi, and maybe the episode with Kale in terms of excitement is probably some of the best episodes we've seen in the tournament thus far. So,
Dynasty, how do you feel about possibly seeing, in your opinion, if it's gonna be introduced, Topo in next week's episode? Because it's interesting how they kept Frieza, they kept Topo, a lot of these guys hidden away. So if there's any other person you would say that is going to be involved next week, who is that person that you see being involved? Because for some reason, I don't know what it is, since Frost is involved and the title is Revenge of F, I think that we're going to see little tiny snippets of Frieza here and there, probably just laughing at the idea that Frost is beating up his own universe members like Roshi and stuff, because I more than anything else would love to see, and this is just me, I would love to see a predicament or an encounter to where Frieza and Frost are face to face, and they know they have to work together, but they fight each other to put on a show, to act like they're against each other, but the whole time they're in cahoots. So do you think there's going to be any sort of altercation between the two, just to show everyone like, yeah, I hate this guy, but deep down they're like, yeah, let's just pretend like we're going at it, but in reality it's like, let's just begin to set our plan into motion. So like, do you see Frieza involved next week or no?
For next week?
Yeah. No, this
go
is
ahead, Dynasty. You can take this one. Yeah, go ahead.
I do see Frieza coming in this next week, maybe because, you know, in the title they do him Revenge of F, right? And if we do think back to the movie Resurrection F, what's next? Revenge of F, basically.
Yeah, it's almost like the same thing. But like, so you're saying that you think that we are gonna have an involvement with him?
Yeah.
And what do you see him doing? Like, do you see him actually fighting, or just kind of sitting back and enjoying this?
I see him sitting back and enjoying this, and then I can see him like joining in later, and like it's like he's trying to throw my hands down instead of sitting around no more. That's what I think.
What about you, Emish? How do you feel about that?
I don't think Frieza. I think they call it Revenge F because obviously they're hinting to Revival of F or Revenge of F, right? And also because kind of Universe 7 did make Frost look like a fool back in the U67 tournament. So that's his revenge technically. It's his revenge to get the revenge in the Tournament of Power. The greatest arc, question. I mean, theoretically the greatest arc as far as what Dragon Ball Super has to offer in terms of potential. And then going forward, it's interesting. I will say though, because I'm watching the preview again for the third time. Two things might happen. I think either A, the Mufuba could fail, right? Because they kind of hint like, well, don't use the Mufuba wave again anymore, and you'll die for sure this time.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, do they really want to kill Roshi off and have him go out in a blaze of glory? Because theoretically, you're gonna die anyway. You're gonna get erased anyway if you lose. So it doesn't really matter. But I think like it could hurt. It's questionable. Another thing that could happen is Frost could use Magetta as the dummy to get sealed. Ultimately,
that would be.
Yeah, if he's using him as a wall. Yeah, so if Frost is going to be a major player and Magetta just because we also see Vegeta, I think, going against Magetta as well.
I didn't see that.
I think if I remember correctly.
I think I've seen that too.
Yeah,
did you really?
I'm pretty
okay,
sure.
So maybe that would make sense because Vegeta and him were beefing in the beginning, so maybe he throws him out finally.
I could see that happening, and then going forward, it's like, well, I could see Frost kind of utilizing Magetta as that wall, to prevent him from getting sealed, especially if Frost is going to be a problem this episode, and they want to see, because remember, for example, Roshi utilized the Mufuba as a means to get rid of nuisances that may cause trouble for Vegeta and Goku and Gohan, etc. company. So if he's going to use it against someone like Frost, who's going to prove to be a formidable opponent, whether he's cheating, whether he's being conniving, whatever the case may be, I could see as to why he would utilize or put his life on the line again for the sake of his team, which makes sense. Now, Frost, being who he is, using Magetta as a wall, could use Magetta as the target, which explains why he ends up standing above the jar, if anything. I don't know, but then you got to think about it. Well, while he's standing above the jar, the Mufuba is still in effect, and then we still see Master Roshi swinging his hands up, going down. So it looks like he did catch somebody. So even if he doesn't catch Magetta, he might catch somebody else in Universe 6. So
for some reason, I think Frost is gonna stop him. I think that maybe you're right. Maybe you're onto something. Maybe Roshi does do that to Magetta, and perhaps Frost just immediately jumps in and just knocks him down or something, because we see him on top. So I don't know how that's going to be the case. But do you see Roshi successfully sealing anybody off, or is it going to be an attempt and then pause? What do you think?
I could see him sealing somebody. I could see him sealing somebody because they show him doing it. You know what I'm saying? So either whether or not successful is, I don't know. It's difficult to say. I would imagine that. I would say, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be Frost. It doesn't even have to be Magetta. What I'm saying is that Frost might use Magetta as a tool to get sealed, to prevent himself from getting sealed, or he may grab somebody from another universe. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's another questionable thing. Maybe Maji Kayo gets sealed.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
He can't be hit by physical attacks. He doesn't take damage from physical attacks. Maybe he ends up getting sealed as a result, and then Frost comes in. There's so many possibilities with Frost. That's the thing. When it comes to Frost, when we see what he did against Krillin, there's so many possibilities of him using the field and the situation to his advantage. Not so much his power. Yeah. And we also see his finger, utilizing the death beam. So that's another questionable thing. So next week might be one of those exciting episodes, I would say, for sure.
Dynasty, what do you think? Do you think Roshi's going to seal somebody away, or is it going to be a ploy just for him to get knocked out, or something happens involving Frost?
I don't know. I think it's going to be a ploy because, it's Dragon Ball Super. Well, to me, I feel like It's just like one of those type of moments where, or you get everyone to think that he sealed someone, right? But then out of nowhere, you just see Frost knocking out Roshi and just standing on top of him. That's what I see in my mind. That's what like my mind wants me to think. So I'm just thinking that Frost somehow is gonna avoid it. Like maybe he is gonna seal, like what Iman said, right? Roshi is probably gonna seal someone with the Mafuba, but I feel like it's not gonna be Frost. I feel like Frost is gonna end up avoiding it, using like Magetta as like a decoy in order to take down Roshi. That's what I'm seeing.
Because that's a cunning tactic, right? That's dirty. And he's a slime ball as a character. But I you know what I think? I think by the end of this, just as Emosh and Dynasty pointed out, I think that just as we saw the little seal from Master Roshi be okayed by the Omni King, I think that Frost's needle, if he does use it, which I do think at some point he will, I think that they're going to catch on. They're going to be like, oh, he's cheating. But similar to that situation, I can see the Omni King saying, you know what,
that's
it's neat, it's cool.
Yeah, I see that.
I feel like they set that episode up for that. And then
I really think you're onto something. And that eventually, because that brings hope for me. Because now the rules are slowly fading. It's like in the beginning, it was all strict and dandy, but now it's like, let it go. Let it go. It's like, yes, please. And even if he kills somebody and everyone's like, yo, that's it, I can see the Omni King saying, well, it is what it is, right? Let it go. Like, that would be great. But I just think that at some point, like Emosh pointed out, he's probably going to use the needles, in my opinion. I think that at some point he's bound to, and they're going to catch him, and they're going to be like, oh, look, he's cheating. But I think it's bound to be like approved by the Omni King. And if that's the case, then a lot of people are going to be in trouble, because if he catches you just once, you're going to be all woozy and you know, just all over the place. Even though it's not as effective as Lavender's poison, it still has a significant effect on your body to where it can cause you to hallucinate. So post your comments down below, guys. Let us know what you guys think of episode 107. And guys, make sure to hit that subscribe button for EmoshIsLive and Infinite Dynasty. Infinite Dynasty, this is his first time on the channel, guys. So make sure you guys head on over to his channel. He does Dokkan Battle and Xenoverse and all sorts of stuff alongside Emosh, who you guys already know does tons of awesome analytical breakdowns and reviews and stuff. Also, he's about to hit 5K subscribers, so make sure you guys go on ahead, punch that subscribe button. Let's try to get Emosh to 5K subscribers at least by Monday. That'll be pretty dope, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, punch that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Have a great night, everybody. Peace.